Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today I am talking about why you should ditch your shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Yeah. So first of all, I do want to start out by saying thank you for everyone's input last week. I did get, oh my God, on the Patreon, the poll, amazing answers. Thank you so much. And then there's been feedback on Spotify, the YouTube video. I love it all. And the majority of you did say that you wanted more unconventional topics or more of my journey or things I've learned along the way and incorporating witchy shit into that, of course. So that's what today's episode is. And today's episode is completely inspired by the week of Thanksgiving. Also by like personal transformations I've gone through this year. But mostly this week. Yeah. So we're going to start with, as far as shoulda, coulda, wouldas, is I'm going to start with a story. I used to identify as a kitchen witch. Okay. That was how I would introduce myself in like magical settings, would be eclectic kitchen witch of X number of years. Okay. And I want to say that it stayed like this up until a couple of years ago. Like, honestly, I used to have a very different life than what you see now. You know, Ink Goddess Creations was opened in 2013. But I was a tattoo artist before that. But for a very long time, I was a stay-at-home mom. I even homeschooled my kids for a while. I was a mom blogger. I wrote a parenting book one time. Fun stuff, right? So when I was a stay-at-home mom, I had a lot more time on my hands because my kids were in school for some of it. And then when we decided to homeschool, you still have to understand that my kids were like 7 and 9 or 8 and 10. You know, they weren't like little. So I was a stay-at-home mom and I loved cooking. I, of course, cleaned as well, but I cooked and cleaned, and cooking was really where I brought out my witchcraft. I really got into kitchen witchery, into making things from scratch, into infusing things with energy from the moment that I thought of the dish I was going to create. Okay. As the business, I also had extra time on my hands, especially before I started homeschooling my kids. So they would go off to school in the morning, and I basically had 6 to 8 hours to myself every day. And there's only so much cleaning you can do because deep cleaning sucks. So I was making huge meals. I was making desserts from scratch. At one point, I don't know if I'm proud to admit it or a little ashamed to admit it, but we didn't have any crackers in the house. We had cheese, and the kids wanted like cheese and crackers. And I didn't feel like going to the grocery store, so I literally made my kids crackers from scratch one time. That's the level of like kitchen witchery and homebodiness that I was at. Okay. So I also decided to open up my Etsy store using like stuff I had left over around the house. My dad had given me a gift card to like Amazon or something. So I bought some raw supplies off Amazon, and I opened up my Etsy store, and that was the beginning of Ink Goddess Creations. But at first, Etsy store, we're talking like maybe one sale a week, still had a lot of time on my hands. So as the business got popular over the years, and we're talking like years of time going by, not like a year. Okay. The business started picking up, becoming more popular. I started cooking less and less. And let me tell you, the amount of guilt that I held because I'm a kitchen witch. Like that was ingrained in me. I'm a kitchen witch. How can I not want to cook? How am I too tired to cook? This is what I do. This is how I create my magic. I am a kitchen witch. So as the business grew and I had less and less time to cook, the more guilt set in. I at one point, you would have thought I was Catholic. I had so much guilt. It went from me cooking everything, like 5 to 6 days a week. Huge meals, desserts, lunches. I would make lunch for Colin, send him to work with lunch, everything. So it went from that as the business grew to, I would definitely cook for Sabbaths and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Sundays. Every Sunday, I would make sure to set aside time to do a big dinner, to set the intentions for the week, to bring the family together, and the last day before the kids went back to school, because at this point, the kids were probably back in school. Because we only homeschooled for a few years. So that was like my bare minimum. Sunday dinners, Sabbaths, and then Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then some more time goes by. Sabbaths went out the door, or cooking for Sabbaths, I should say. And cooking on Sundays, a big meal on Sundays, that also went out the door. And so my kitchen witchery, I was so still hung up on I'm a kitchen witch. And I had so much guilt that I shifted over to, okay, well, if I can't make everything from scratch, I can still infuse it. So for a while there, and I mean, if y'all have been followers on my social media for a while, we're talking like just a couple of years ago, I really went the route of you can still be a kitchen witch. If you aren't cooking, you just infuse your food with positive energy. Well, that's where I settled. And I didn't know. I was like, can I even call myself a kitchen witch? And I was like, I can go do it. But infusing your food with positive energy without cooking it, like if you're just getting takeout and you're infusing it with positive energy, that's just a witchcraft thing to do, not necessarily a kitchen witch, okay? But I wanted to hold on to this label that I had applied to myself so much. I wanted to hold on to that. So now I don't cook at all. If I get up, I'm more likely to make a breakfast on a Saturday morning because I wake up before everyone. I'm still a morning person. I wake up before everyone and I will literally turn on like Zombie House Flippers, the TV show. And then I will read a lot of magical realism fiction that centers around, women who infuse baked goods with magic or, cook with magic and stuff. And so I'll get inspired off of a recipe out of a book or something. And so I'll wake up Saturday morning and like make orange chocolate chip scones for no reason, just because I wanted some. But that is very few and far between. So I don't do Sabbaths really anymore. We will still buy stuff. I'll be like, okay, it's Ostara. We should, have eggs and hot cakes and things like that. But I don't even really cook for Sabbaths anymore. Last year, I cut it down to Thanksgiving and Yule. My kids were even gone for Christmas. So for Christmas, Colin and I did Chinese food. But I did a big Yule dinner. And then of course, Thanksgiving. Every year I'm like, Thanksgiving is my jam. Like I'm still a kitchen witch at heart. Deep down in there, I'm a kitchen witch. Okay. So this year, we have had a lot going on. I mentioned to you all last week that Crowley was in and out of the hospital. He's still not back to being 100%. He has days where he eats. He has days where he doesn't eat. It's still the busy time of year. We're still playing catch up from the Witch's Bazaar in October. And the closer it got to Thanksgiving, the more my mood absolutely shifted. Because in my mind, I was like, I should be excited. I used to be a kitchen witch. I should be excited. This is my time of year to shine. I love cooking Thanksgiving dinner. And when my daughter's home and it's my son and my daughter are home, then yeah, I did love cooking Thanksgiving. My daughter's not going to be able to be home for Thanksgiving this year. And this is probably the first year moving forward for quite a few years because she'll be stationed in Germany. She's in the military. So I'm going to have to start doing holidays without both of my kids there, which sucks. But as we got closer to Thanksgiving, the guilt just floored me. It flooded me. Okay. Like, I don't even want to cook Thanksgiving dinner. I have so much going on. I don't have a passion for cooking anymore. But I used to be a kitchen witch. How do I just, can I not be a kitchen witch anymore? Is that a thing? I had to ask myself that, you guys. I know I have been a witch for 25 years. I tell you all the time that you're going to ebb, you're going to flow, you're going to change things. And I've been talking for so many episodes now about when you get into a witchy funk, like look at it. What is not working for you? What is working for you? But something inside of me did not want to let go of this kitchen witch label. I've let go of it on the surface. You know, like when I introduced myself, I was like, oh, I'm an eclectic witch of 25 years. You know, I don't say eclectic kitchen witch anymore because I've let it go on the surface. But deep down, I held so much guilt. So much. I should be a kitchen witch. I used to enjoy this. I should enjoy it again. And so this year I asked my husband, I said, hey, when it comes to Thanksgiving, what if we did something different? What if we got the grocery store? Because the deli sections at our grocery stores used to do them. What if we just did that? And I looked and they don't do them anymore. And I'm like, okay. So then I realized we here in Tucson, we have a honey-baked ham company. And so I looked up their whole turkey meal. It's expensive. It was expensive. Okay. But then while I was on their website, I saw that you can get 6 sides. And I said, oh my God, the sides are what take the most time. You just throw the turkey in the oven in the morning and go on about your day. But it's the constant prep of the sides is what takes the bulk of your time. And I said, I just want to rest. I was like, what do you think of that? And I knew, like, everything in me was like, he's going to be so pissed off. I don't know why I told myself that, right? So I pitched the idea to him. I told him the sides that Honey Baked Ham Company had. And he said, that sounds delicious. Let's just do that. He's like, why don't we... He's like, what about a turkey? Do you feel like cooking a turkey? I was like, dude, I can get up in the morning and put a turkey in the oven and, baste it throughout the day. That's fine. He goes, and what about our yeast rolls? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll do the rolls, duh. And he's like, what are we going to do about pie? And I was like, I've always wanted one of them big ass pies from Costco. And he's like, yeah, let's just do that. And I sat there and I said, are you serious right now? You're not mad at me? And he goes, no, why would I be mad at you? That dinner sounds delicious and you need a break. He said, we've been working our asses off at work. He goes, you deserve time off too. And that was it, you guys. Like the floodgates just opened up in my face. And like I cried and cried. It was this huge release of not only just a release right now of like all the stress and all the bullshit that we have going on at the moment, but it was this release of the guilt and the acceptance that I'm not a kitchen witch anymore. And there's no shoulds. I should be a kitchen. I should be whatever the fuck I want to be. That's the only should that me or you or anyone should have in their life. Is I should be whoever the fuck I want to be. Okay? So like this massive release, this massive letting go of who I thought that I was or who I thought I had to be, because this is the type of witch I was for years ago when my life was completely different. So I was putting the pressure on myself. I was putting the shoulda, coulda, wouldas on myself. No one else was. My husband wasn't. My son wasn't. I pitched the idea to him and he's like, we got mac and cheese for Thanksgiving? And I was like, yeah, because normally we don't have mac and cheese for Thanksgiving. He goes, yeah, I'm down. And the mashed potatoes from Honey Baked Ham are like loaded with like bacon, cheese, all kinds of shit. So both of them were like, that sounds delicious. So I was putting all of this pressure on myself. And just with that one decision, I let it all go. I let go of the pressure. I let go of the should. I let go of this limiting belief that I had that because I used to be a kitchen witch and I used to have fun and I used to take pride in it, that it had, quote unquote, like I'm doing bunny ears for those who are listening, like the bunny quotation marks. I had to continue to be a kitchen witch. You don't have to do anything, especially when it's something like this, especially when it comes to your spiritual path. Something like we all started out as Wiccans, maybe, or at least let's say this. The majority of the books written out there are Wicca based. Okay. So if you are a beginner witch, especially if you stem from like the 90s, like I did, okay, the only books that there were out there were on Wicca. So you read the Wicca book, some of the things make sense. Some of them don't. Are you a Wiccan? Are you still a Wiccan if you started out a Wiccan? You could be. You might not be. Do you have guilt over it though? Because that's where the bullshit lies. Everyone is evolving always. But we as spiritual beings, you're supposed to evolve. You're supposed to change form. You're supposed to grow. And as your spiritual practice, or as you grow, your spiritual practice also grows. And that's the beauty of a spiritual journey. It's not a spiritual line. It's a journey. You can go here, you can go there, you can try this, you can try that. And what you should do, and yes, I'm going to say should, is you should release expectations. Okay? You should release limiting beliefs of like, oh, I should be this because my parents were this. I should be this because this is what I started out with on my spiritual path. I should be this because my best friend is this. You should be whatever the fuck you want to be. And that is the only should you should have in your life. Okay? So, let me see where my notes are because I went off and I don't know where I'm at. It's a journey. Podcast episodes are journeys, you guys. Okay. So I just have questions now. I did a good job. I covered everything that was up there. That's beautiful. So what in your life or witchcraft practice are you shoulda, coulda, woulda-ing? Okay. I should be this in my witchcraft practice. I should do this in my witchcraft practice. Oh, if I would have completed that study course, then maybe I would be this now. Oh, if I would have continued to work on my psychic abilities, maybe I would be a medium right now. Doesn't matter. If I would have stuck with my daily tarot card pull practice, would I be able to, or I might be able to charge for tarot readings like now. Okay, well, you didn't. So you need to have compassion for yourself and forgiveness for yourself. And you need to understand that there should be no shoulda, woulda, couldas. You should let those go. You need to ditch those. Okay? Because holding on to any type of guilt, especially when it comes to your spiritual practice, just holds you back. It keeps your magic from flowing freely. It keeps you stuck in a little box of guilt and shoulda, coulda, woulda, and that's bullshit. Okay? How much freer would you be if you ditched whatever it is that you think you should be doing, or that you could be doing, or that you would have been doing if this was different? Okay? Doing magical things out of guilt, shame, or should drains you and adds resentful energy to it. Now, that's actually true for anything in life. But it's especially true. We're spiritual people. We're witches. We're magical. So doing things out of guilt, shame, or should drains your energy, which then means, especially if you are trying to apply it to magic, you're trying to do a spell, you're trying to do a ritual, you're trying to raise magical energy. It's basically like you're raising this gorgeous, beautiful manifestational energy, and then you're coating it in shit. That's what it's like to be operating from a place of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay? This energy is what will go into your spell, your ritual, your magical practice. And then if this is the energy that's going into that spell or ritual, this is the energy you're going to get back. Is more should, could, would. More shame, more guilt, more bullshit, more shit holding you back from being your authentic self, from being free, and from manifesting whatever it is that you truly want to manifest because you're no longer held back by shoulda, woulda, couldas. So yeah, that's what I have for you all today. That's it. I knew that this one was going to be just a little bit shorter, because we still have to go to the grocery store. When I put off Thanksgiving, y'all, I put it off. Okay. Okay, so for Patreon this week, your bonus content, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this. I'm going to share with you one simple philosophy that I've adopted in order to help shed some more of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Because look, there's things in life that you're going to be able to easily ditch. Okay. You're like, I'm done with that. That's bullshit. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay. And then there's things that for whatever reason you just hold on to. And for whatever reason, kitchen witchery for me was something I held on to, probably because it was a very enjoyable part of my practice for years, you know? But there are other things in life that by applying a simple philosophy, I'm able to shed real quick. And that's what I'm going to share over in the paid Patreon. So if you are a member, then y'all can just skip right over there. If you're not a member, you can head to patreon.com/inkedgoddesscreations. And you get the bonus content with just the bottom $5 tier. So you also get Patreon shout outs here on the podcast. So I have 2 new members this week. And they're a little slow, yeah. But I'm so grateful for my new members, Oriana, and it might be Oriana or Oriana. I don't know. My accent's real bad. And Beth. So thank you to my 2 new paid Patreon members. And then the only other thing that I want to tell you all about is we are heading towards December. I cannot fucking believe it already. And in the Ink Spirit Coven, we are transitioning over to working with the element of earth. And for the month of December, we're going to be rooting into ourselves. So this is going to be the fundamental practices for living your authentic life. Honestly, we're rooting down into who you are so that you can figure that out, so that at the end of the winter, you can emerge closer to your true self than you ever have been before. So I would love to have you join me for this transformation. We're doing a lesson in December and then a guided meditation, a foundational meditation that I write and record and put sound effects with it. It's super fun. But how to root into yourself and build that strong foundation. So if this sounds great to you, I would love to have you. You can head to inkedspirit.com to learn more and join us. I want to thank you all so much for being here, for giving me a platform to share my knowledge, share my stories, hopefully share some wisdom. And I hope you all resonated with this. If you all do like my podcast, please rate it. Please tell your friends about it and let me know in the comments, either on Spotify or Instagram or whatever, what you thought of this episode, because I love hearing your feedback. So thank you all, and I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope it's not stressful. Get rid of your shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and it'll be so much better. But I will see you all again next week. Bye.